Kaylee, Luigi, can you guys hear me? Are you receiving this?
I hear someone who goes by the name Andy.
I'm trying to get. Did you guys receive the files? I'm trying to get this information out before Zumakian agents. They may or most likely do not exist, but they are trying to stop us from getting this information out to the people. So my life. It might be too late for me, but
Zumak the hack.
you guys may be in jeopardy because this is sensitive information that they don't want you to know about.
I got all of the top secret files into my box earlier today. It's perfect.
Ooh.
Fantastic.
Sexy.
It's what everybody's tuning in for. It's what they want to hear about. But the topic for the very first episode of Edge Files, I wanted to keep it kind of general, and this is more about things that go bump in the night, spooky sounds from beyond, or government technology that you don't know about. These kind of things that are not public knowledge, but we're going to put it on Front Street for our listenership today.
Is it going to resort to fart jokes and diarrhea talk?
It better.
Maybe. Well, that's interesting that you bring that up, because I think everybody is aware when we're talking about bizarre sounds, right? Everybody knows this sound, right? The gentle white noise that a lot of people like to fall asleep to. You're aware of white noise, right?
So
Yes.
relaxing.
Yeah. Is this putting people to sleep? Is this a bad idea? I think the more, even more soothing than white noise is brown noise, right? Have you ever heard of brown noise? Have you heard of brown noise?
I have.
I have.
Yeah. No.
It
Well, you're
depends.
brown noise. That's the brown note, which is it is.
It's working.
Yeah, that's the difference. This is the brown note, brown noise, brown note. Does anybody need to
All
use
right,
the
describe to us the difference between the brown note and brown noise.
I don't know the difference except the name of it. And,
Hey, by the way, I'm seeing in the chat here, Andy, you're not streaming on your channel right now.
it looks like
Thank you
I
very
am.
much, Gummy Chainsaw. Is it possibly unlisted?
I made
It
it.
says public here.
Oh yeah, I see it. Okay, never mind.
Don't worry about it. That's not the point. Even though
The point is pooping your pants. That's the point.
Yay!
I feel like that has been used over and over again. I don't know why that. I mean, that can't be the legit brown note. Nobody's shitting their pants listening to that.
You don't know what's happening underneath the seat.
Speak for yourself, sir.
But that's all fun and games. The real point of this episode, where there are a lot of frequencies, maybe, that are people didn't even know that microwaves were a thing until, Samsung created a microwave and started cooking chicken pot pies and burritos for all of us. I feel like there are frequencies that are not discovered yet, or not able to be heard by human ears. Would you guys agree with that?
I definitely think that frequencies and waveforms in general are super interesting. You can make these like I don't even know how, they're like listening devices where you're literally just using lasers because of the frequency of sound waves. So there is certainly something that is really interesting about the topic of what the frequencies are.
You're just talking about the voyeurs where they shot the
I
laser
was.
in so they could hear the PA.
It's real. It's a real thing. It was made by the same guy. It was made by the same guy who made the theremin. It was made by Arthur Theremin. I don't know what his first name was. I went with
Frank
Arthur. It
Theremin?
sounds legit.
Alexander Graham Theremin.
Yeah.
Uh,
But that is, I think that there are absolutely frequencies in the same way that we all see colors differently, in the same way that we all that they are constantly saying like, oh, here's this new color that we weren't able to see previously. Or if you put on the Enchroma glasses, you can see colors in a totally different way. I totally think there's a weird frequency shit in the world that I don't know anything about.
I
That
also
might make
think
me
of-
shit.
I also think of like a submarine sonar. That's literal sound that it's putting out there that we do not hear. It has an electronic interpretation that we're able to read. So that really just kind of falls in line with there are sounds we can't hear or there are sounds we can't perceive, but they still exist.
Right, dog whistles and things of that nature. All the even not just sound waves, but Alex Jones talks about the interdimensional clockwork elves. That it's just like there's these layers, and all we have to do is figure out how to pierce that veil, and suddenly it's going to open up new technology and knowledge to us.
Does he really talk about interdimensional clockwork elves?
Yeah, I mean that's where he starts to lose me. But the fact
that's where
I mean, frogs are gay. We can all agree on that, right?
Well, yeah.
They didn't used to be.
Back in the 80s. Everybody. But my point is that there are incidents where people are being driven crazy by sound waves that they don't know that they're hearing. There was one way back from the 1800s that they attributed to something called infrasound. If you want to hit the clip package, Kaylee, this is going to set the table for what we're talking about tonight.
Sometimes when we're investigating the paranormal, we walk into a space that gives us an eerie feeling of being watched, or that someone is looming over your shoulder. It may be caused by something you can't see, but it could also be caused by something you can't hear. Sound can be a very powerful thing and will overtake you if you let it.
Awesome. So there are, I don't know if anybody watched this past season, the Jodie Foster season of True Detective, where they discover a mass of dead bodies where people have clawed out their own eyes, bitten off their tongues, gone crazy and tried to attack people. And I think that is inspired by an actual event that was documented when I was doing research about this. There was something similar to that, and they attribute it to something called infrasound. If you want to continue with the clip package, please.
Infrasound is classified as a sound that is so low that it cannot be heard audibly by the human ear. These sound waves are in fact vibrating, but we are unable to detect it with our sense of hearing. Many species in the animal kingdom already have the power to communicate on these subaudible levels, like whales when it's mating season.
Yeah. So
only when it's mating season?
Especially when it's mating season.
I really thought you were going to say, honestly, and this is kind of contributing to what you're talking about. I thought you were going to say, based on the description you just talked about, that it was going to be based on the Dyatlov Pass incident, if you're familiar with that.
If you could fill us in, say more.
Interesting. Well, where do I start? It basically in Russia, in the 1950s, there was a long pass around a mountain in which a bunch of college students were trying to get a certification for outdoor wilderness survival techniques, something like that. I'm getting a little fuzzy on my details. We did an episode on it, but long story short is they lost contact with civilization, and when they were found underneath snow with pieces of tongue missing,
Oh yeah.
radiation. There was just a lot of different effects to it, and it's really long just to even describe as an
Yeah.
overview. But it's really where I thought you were going with this. It's funny that you're
Is it-
not, because it seems like it's modeled after that. Yeah.
I think maybe that is one of the things, but the radiation angle maybe steered me away from that.
Yeah.
But I think that you're probably on the right track. The example that I definitely going to bring up was in 2016 in Cuba, and I had Joey C's producer Bob help me sum this up for us. It said in the late 2016, U.S. and Canadian diplomats stationed in Havana, Cuba, began reporting a strange set of symptoms: hearing loss, dizziness, memory issues, and even brain injuries. Many claimed the symptoms began after hearing a high-pitched noise or feeling a sudden pressure in their heads. Some described it as a beam of sound energy targeting them in their homes or hotel rooms. This mysterious condition became known as Havana Syndrome, and it quickly turned into a geopolitical mystery. Theories flew. Was it a sonic weapon, microwave attacks, some form of surveillance gone wrong? Even crickets were being blamed at one point. So the point is that these frequencies were driving people crazy. And I think that's like
Andy, I gotta say, we don't always think about how important things like frequencies are, but you and I just spent a fair amount of time in Boston with Who Are These Podcasts and Dick Masterson, and of course he is having all of these huge issues with tinnitus, and it is knocking him out. And so there's nothing to snub your nose about when it comes to this stuff.
And these people, I remember when some of these were coming to light, like they were literally trying to get congressional help because it was becoming an issue for ambassadors in Canada, or U.S. ambassadors in Canada were all complaining of similar symptoms. And I have to admit that was a little weird, but no one had an explanation for it.
And that's the point. They think that there was some kind of agenda. Maybe the diplomats had an agenda and the Cubans had an agenda, and they used this noise device to kind of
make people poop their pants.
Squash the summit.
Yes.
We're going to get into that. We're going to get into that even more. But so this is a documented phenomena that people, there are instances of people using sound waves for an agenda. And in clip 3, this is a low stakes example of this. What this gentleman has done is developed, I don't know how he administers the device to people, if you have to sit in a certain radius of this, but this guy developed a voice jammer weapon that basically makes it impossible for you to speak and read while you're under the influence of this device. So in this clip, he is promised anybody that can finish a paragraph out of this textbook $100 if they can read the textbook while he is engaging the voice jammer on them. And clip 3 here.
Before we started, I just want to say it sounds an awful lot like hypnosis and something like that James Randi would be able to also do to people. But let's watch the clip and then we can talk about that.
If you could read the paragraph up to terminology without making a mistake, you will get $100.
Instead of focusing on creative music making tips, as we do in most of our other titles, this book is dedicated to the...
All right, pause it. So there's several examples of people failing to pull this off, and what he describes is it's basically feeding your voice back to you out of rhythm and timing of what you're saying and reading. So when you're hearing what you're saying thrown back to you at like out of pace, then you just can't continue talking. And I'm curious about what you were bringing up before we played that clip. Who did you bring up there?
I feel like James Randi would.
Who is that?
He was a famous magician who
What?
did a lot of. It's okay, Luigi. Be nice. It's gonna be okay. James Randi, he was a famous magician, and one of the things that he infamously did was he would try to prove psychics wrong. In particular, you would probably recognize him immediately if you saw any of the things that he did. He was hilarious. He was absolutely incredibly talented. And a lot of what he would do is he would say, well, I can also cold read a room, and so I can make this experiment happen, but then I can show you how I did it using magic, as opposed to a psychic who says, I'm doing it because I'm psychic and I know all the things in the whole wide world.
Okay.
But I will also say, after watching that clip, I don't know, Andy, you're more likely to have seen me do this than Luigi is, but have you ever watched me try to read anything? Because I can get about 4 words in before I sound like that girl just did.
Yeah.
So I don't even know if this needs hypnosis, but like if somebody was like, I'm going to try to fuck you up while you're reading, I would definitely get fucked up while I was reading. For sure.
Sure. Reading is hard, but when there's $100 at stake, a lot of people will persevere.
That's
And
a good point.
in the following clip, he lays out the trick behind defeating this voice jammer. Our friend Kyle is going to show you how it's
There was
done.
one person who, to everyone's amazement, breezed through the speech jammer, Keegan. And Keegan had one distinct attribute that set him apart from every single person who took the test. He wasn't a musician.
Articles in print magazines with established and trustworthy credentials. Online sources are not quoted directly without independent corroboration from other sources. Regarding the images, we've chosen to show the synthesizers from angles that balance aesthetics and functionality. For historical documentation purposes, we identify them with their unique serial numbers whenever possible.
Wow!
I've never been so attracted to a guy who wasn't a musician.
I knew you were going to think that guy was hot.
Andy has $100.
Yeah, he's got ice cream money for Lucy. But I just found that so interesting because music is so important to so many people, but there is definitely a cross section of people that don't, it's just when people don't like movies or people that don't watch TV. There's people that don't put a lot of eggs in the basket of music and tempo and rhythm, and I guess that's all it takes to beat this device that this guy has developed. But it's interesting.
That's really crazy. Yeah, I have my best friend. She does not listen to music in the car when she drives. Like, she doesn't listen to podcasts. She doesn't listen to music. She just drives. It's deafening, to say the least.
It's deafening silence.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, because that's another form of torture, right? Just being completely void of stimuli.
I don't want to be alone in my own thoughts. That sounds like hell.
Yeah.
No. Why I keep myself busy.
And that's maybe the lowest of stakes of these kinds of weapons, right? Because when I first started thinking about this concept and how I wanted to present it to you guys, I was thinking of something specific in my head, and I went scouring YouTube for an example of it that I did not find. And then I realized that I had seen it somewhere in a fictional capacity, which we're going to now watch in clip 5.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Well, hold on.
Yeah.
So you're saying you couldn't find like evidence of this existing?
I'm saying the thing that I was looking for.
Oh, okay.
I realized that the thing that I was looking for, I had seen somewhere else right here.
Okay.
All right.
What's that? A ghetto cell phone? Gonna call for help with a comeback? Actually, My daddy bought this from a disgruntled DARPA employee. You see, it was designed for crowd control but deemed too severe.
I'm sorry, Andy. What the fuck? I have so many questions.
Spontaneous nausea and diarrhea. He called it the sick stick. Well, either your daddy got ripped off or you're back in make-believe land, sweetheart. Because we feel fabulous. Not for long. You get away from me. Please, you win. I don't want to win. I just want to make the world a better place.
Aww.
Pause it here. Okay. Oh, right. Yeah. So Noah in the chat is saying the sick stick is also in Minority Report. So that's what I was looking for. That I wanted to find the sick stick in real life. Turns out it's only in Minority Report and Kick-Ass 2. But what I did find was something called the LAD. Does anybody know what that is?
No.
Mm-mm.
Okay, the LAD is a crowd...
LAD?
Correct.
Okay.
And it's a crowd control device that they use to break up protests and things like that. In the next clip, there's a good summary of that.
This device can take down an entire crowd using only sound. This is the LRAD, or Long Range Acoustic Device. It's a military-grade sound cannon that blasts an ear-piercing noise at over 150 decibels, louder than a jet engine. It's so powerful that it can cause extreme pain, dizziness, and even temporary blindness.
You must not interfere with vehicular
Imagine standing near this. Originally designed for the military, it's now used by police for crowd control and even against pirates at sea. Would you be able to handle this sound weapon?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I guess it's the audible version of pepper spray.
Yeah. I'm not pooping, but I am uncomfortable.
Yet.
But is it just loud? Like,
yeah, I think so. Because it didn't seem like that one there was, I mean, maybe it wasn't on there. Maybe they were just kind of showcasing the guy walking out with it and playing the sound. But it seemed like another cop was standing right in front of it and not having very much difficulty hearing it or, listening to it. But
one time my entire apartment flooded, and as a result of that flooding, my landlord needed to put a whole bunch of fans in my basement apartment because it was basement, so it was hard to dry it out. And the decibel level of all the fans was like over 100. It was completely insane. And I could not be in there for 5 minutes. I had to go in with headphones to get stuff out. So I believe that. I would run away from loud, annoying noise.
mm-hmm.
What's the Dumb and Dumber noise? I can't do it. I suck at noises. But
I think you should give it a try.
no, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna do it.
Thank you.
Well,
No.
And
well,
the audience thanks you.
See, so Andy, I do know that there have been military experiments with sound. I don't know that anything has actually resulted, but there is a scientist named hold on, I gotta look this up. Vladimir Gavro. Let's see. During the 1960s, he and his lab assistants experienced pain in the eardrums and nausea, and noticed that the liquids that they were drinking in their lab, like coffee, was vibrating. And he did sounds basically after realizing that whenever you walked into his office, you would get nausea and disorientation, but they couldn't hear anything. This was actually on an episode of a show that I remember. But I don't remember how it resulted, but I know that he put forth efforts to try to weaponize the technology, but I do not know if it ever resulted in any actual military application.
that we know of.
Yeah, exactly.
There was another video that I didn't bring because it's really just like a bomb going off sonically, though. It's another crowd control device that basically, they just drop this sonic boom on the crowd and everybody runs away. So I would say that there's definitely some form that people, a lot of it seems like it's not approved by the government for the military to use for crowd control.
U.S.
Now I like it.
Yeah. But also, like, to your point with the vibrating in the room, and like, all of your equilibrium is in your ear. So
yeah,
I can fully believe that something like that would have, make you feel ill, seasick, and you wouldn't even know it. So,
when we were talking about like the stuff in Cuba with the diplomats, I also had to wonder what the MO was. Like, did Cuba suddenly just decide they didn't want American diplomats? Like, why target them? And no one took responsibility for it. So in my mind, that led to a little bit of skepticism, in that I just was like, I do believe in mass hysteria to some extent, but I was like, why target these people? For what reasons? And I don't know. It seemed most of the time when there's terrorist groups, they're very quick to claim responsibility and also have a motive and want to talk about it. So that was in the discrediting pile in my brain. But at the same time, when you talk about several different incidents complaining of the same symptoms, I was like, I can't get around that. That seems pretty weird. But
yeah, and there was other cases that were in China and Russia and the US. They launched an investigation, but they didn't really find anything that was definitive. But I think shadow agencies use these kind of things to whatever derail agendas. I think that's my opinion. But I'm looking in the chat over here. We're getting a couple of
hey, got some super chats
from my boy Zen.
Somebody has to read it to me because my glasses aren't on.
There's no mystery as to what's in my nose. At least I'm not zoom-ocking it with a giant booger. I made sure that was not part of the show.
Andy in the bathroom before the show with like one of the little nose hair trimmers vibrating the hell out of his nose. Vibrations. It's great. I love Andy's camera angle. We are really getting into the mysteries. He looks like he's holding a spooky flashlight below his face.
That was Kaylee's idea.
I love it.
But yes, like in South Park, where Cartman played Slayer to get rid of the hippies. Also, any thoughts on the brown note from South Park?
Yes.
Take the show off with the brown note.
Yes.
Bring it back.
Stewie Pelt, thank you.
Bring it back.
Thank you so much for the super chats.
We couldn't do a show about mysterious sounds without featuring the brown note.
No, that would be completely inappropriate of us. And I do also just want to pause for a moment and say thank you to everybody for joining us for our first episode. Andy has been producing this one. We're talking all about crazy sounds, and it is wonderful to see y'all in the chat. So we appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I want to move on from maybe shadow agencies and government technology that's not approved for use with the general public to
pooping pants.
Yes. I've been waiting.
Haunted pants. No, this is haunted, like ghostly messages from beyond the grave. The other spooky sounds that go bump in the night, specifically the Queen Mary from a British ship that is docked in California. Why are you chortling?
When you bring ghosts into it, I have to goof. I have to goof on it.
Oh, well, what if there's multiple accounts of people hearing voices from a young girl that drowned in the pool of the Queen Mary?
I can reproduce all of them. Listen. That's what they heard.
Sounds just like her. But anyway, the Queen Mary was it's docked in Long Beach, California, and it's a British ocean liner that was it served as a hotel and tourist attraction, but it's most famous for being one of the most haunted places in America. Since being decommissioned in 1967, the ship has been legendary for paranormal activity, with over 50 deaths recorded on board during its service, from crew accidents to wartime casualties. Queen Mary has developed a chilling reputation. Guests and ghost hunters alike report unexplained footsteps, cold spots, slamming doors, and ghostly apparitions. One of the most famous spirits said to haunt the ship is Jackie, the ghost of a little girl. According to the lore, Jackie drowned in the ship's now drained first-class swimming pool. Through records, her exact death is not known, but witnesses often hear her laughing, calling out for her mommy, or even singing, especially near the pool area. Some have even claimed to interact with her using spirit boxes or audio recordings where a young girl's voice responds to questions.
Listen, if I died as a little girl in a swimming pool, all I would be saying is, "I could do a handstand better than you. Watch me, watch me." That's
You're not.
I'm
You're not looking.
Yeah, you're not. Watch how big this cannonball is. Wow. Yeah, that's literally the whole thing. That's what I'm doing.
Mom, you're not
Yeah.
watching, Mom. That's what this ghost sounds like. But in the next clip, let's meet Jackie here.
Jackie, are you in there?
So, I mean, obviously Luigi's going to say that could be anything. And I would kind of agree that, it says it's a British ship, but the kid has an American accent. That's kind of weird, isn't it?
It's a little weird. It sounded, I watch movies a lot, and I am constantly trying to figure out what's ADR. That's the worst ADR that I've ever heard, is what I feel like we
it
just
was pretty
listened to.
layered. You could hear it on top of the other sounds.
What did it say? Do we know what it allegedly said? I couldn't actually make it out.
I have a montage in the next clip, but some of these are very hard to hear. You just hear, a voice, a little girl's voice. It sounded like something like, we could play it again if you want to back it up, but we could just go on to the next one. There's some subtitles saying, what people want you to think she's saying, or whatever.
All right, let's
hear some of the singing, some of the calling out.
I want to hear. That's the next one. Can I play it?
Yeah, let's hear.
I want to hear more.
There she is.
Malarkey.
So it's primarily the pool area where she supposedly died. But yeah, to your guys' point, whatever, somebody's playing a recording from a different, down in the basement up through a vent in the floor. Who knows how, if it's, obviously it's not real, right?
Andy?
Luigi's a believer now, actually.
Andy?
Yeah.
I'm a ghost.
Jackie. Yeah. Jackie is joined to the show, everyone.
Do you hear me? I'm a ghost. I'm a female ghost, Andy.
Would you spend a night on the Queen Mary for $100?
Stop asking me. You keep asking me that question.
I like that you can kind of hear your voice when you laugh. It's not Jackie, I don't think, Andy. I'm pretty sure it's actually Luigi. I can tell from the laugh. I am always interested in things like this, and I think that the Queen Mary does actually have some real torrid history in addition to the ghost story stuff.
So you've heard of it before?
I have, but I will also say, despite the fact that I am not a believer in ghosts, I don't particularly want to stay the night in haunted places. I think I might just be a giant wuss, though.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in that camp too. I'm not going to put myself in a position to have to do that, but also I don't really subscribe to a lot of that, and I know Luigi doesn't, but
Luigi clearly loves it.
Luigi is. I'm gonna get him a ticket to California to spend a night on the Queen Mary.
Luigi is equal.
What are you, scared?
He's gone forever now.
Vera Habusa.
He's gone forever now.
After one episode,
when I switched my mics, when I tried to go back, the other one wasn't reading, and I was talking and and like you guys couldn't hear me, and I don't know what happened. Sorry.
Oh, you thought
you were stroking out again.
You just thought you were a little
out of anger.
No, out of anger. You insult me by bringing this nonsense into my presence.
Scared silence.
Why do you say that you're a wuss about it? Like,
I don't
understand.
I think that Luigi, you and I talked about this a little bit when you and I were talking about The Entity. I don't like watching horror movies late at night because I have bad dreams.
That's right.
If I am staying somewhere that is allegedly haunted and there are allegedly ghosts in it, it's not that I believe that there's actually ghosts. It's that I'm putting my mind in the headspace of I'm in a horror movie, and in the same way that I don't like watching a horror movie right before bed. I don't want to be spooked. I don't want to have the nightmares. They're too spooky.
I got you.
Too spooky. You know who isn't spooky, though? You guys are going to, again, have to read things for me. We have a member for 6 months, it looks like.
The Chunkster.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
And
Ryan.
I'm going to let you guys read.
Ryan Rabalkin, Canadian $5.
Yeah.
Canadian.
That
You guys
means
are
it's
doing
really
great.
$0.
Look forward to future episodes. Also, Fart Sounds, classic. Hey, I was recently accused of being too smart, and I was like, no, listen to this.
Ryan has great taste, as always.
And I'm kidding. No one accused me of being too smart. Hamhead, $2. Thank you, Hamhead. Thank you so much. Wait, this show isn't about you two's The Edge. That's what I kept trying to convince them, and they just wouldn't listen. They wanted to talk about ghosts and nonsense.
That wasn't the kind of edging that I thought we were doing here. I don't know. I got confused also. I'm a woman. I don't know how things work. Come on.
Rumple Trenchcoat, a Columbo podcast. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the $5. You had me at the Columbo theme thumbnail.
Yes.
Andy really likes himself as Columbo. We're gonna have to do some more face swaps with Andy as Columbo.
Andy as Columbo is like my new favorite thing. I love it.
And super sticker from Donna G. Thank you for the $4.99. I don't see it though.
Thank you, Donna G. I probably have messed something up in something.
Oh, it's because okay. Nope, we can't. I don't think we could see it here in the chat, but I think it's on your channel.
I don't know how super stickers work, so
it's very appreciated. Thank you so much, Donna G, and
thank
you
you
guys all
so
so
much.
much. We appreciate so much that you guys are supporting us and hanging out with us here in the chat. It means a ton to us because we've been really excited to share this show with you. Everybody is super excited right now, except for Luigi, who hates ghosts more than anything in the whole wide world.
I hate people who profit from trying to convince others that ghosts exist. That is what I don't like. And yeah, that's what Skeptical Robot is about, is just the people who profit from perpetuating nonsense.
Absolutely.
I'll forgive Andy.
The Queen Mary is very interesting. I'm with Andy on this one in the sense that it is an interesting story, but I'm with Luigi in that ghosts are bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to say that it's real. I'm just saying that these are audible phenomena that people can't explain, and that's the theme.
I can explain it.
Oh yeah,
it's nonsense.
But yeah, where's the voice coming from? Where's the voice
from?
Coming
CapCut.
You think it's just on the video? You think if you go to the boat, you're not going to hear anything?
I assure you, I would hear nothing. I would willing to bet
if you
on it.
went in a hypothetical situation, if you went to the Queen Mary and you heard something, and you knew that nobody else was there, like if it was a relatively controlled experience, would you feel differently than you do?
I don't think so, because to say that I haven't experienced unexplained things, I'd be insincere. I have experienced things that I cannot explain. I just simply don't believe that the explanation is wandering spirits who have nowhere to go. So
that's actually a really good response. That's a really good response. I like it.
Care to share any of these stories on a show that's about entertaining stories?
Yeah, I mean, I'll admit, I lived in, so I grew up with, okay, well, I guess we'll get into it. I grew up with a highly religious, mentally ill mother, who was very devoted to believing that ghosts were everywhere and that maybe demons were even in the house or wherever she went. And yes, I realize that explains a lot of who I am. You don't need to tell me. But she would constantly put fear into me that there were spirits everywhere. And like, I don't know. I'm sure I'm not the only one who grew up with an overly religious mother. So as a kid, yeah, I was constantly scared of being in the dark and constantly scared of being alone and constantly scared. I was just constantly scared. And then I remember one time hearing a noise that I immediately associated with being a voice. And I was like, oh my God, I just experienced a ghost. And I was like terrified and like, totally frozen about it. But then the more I thought about it, I was like, wait a minute. Did it really sound like a voice? Or did it sound like a hiss coming from a possible pipe? And like, the more I just sat and thought about it, I was like, I don't know that was a voice because it didn't say anything. And that's really kind of where like a lot of my skepticism like was birthed from, was me just thinking, okay, let's analyze this. I want to think a little bit more about it. Am I just simply jumping to the conclusion that I was told is the conclusion I should jump through? And if it was in fact a voice, why didn't it say anything? Or why didn't I understand anything it said? And so I don't know. I just went through like this ledger of questions, and I was like, yeah, I made all that shit up. That was my imagination. I was like, I mean, that's ultimately the conclusion I came to. And then I just started telling myself, yeah, no, I don't believe this is true. And then at that point, it's hard to convince me of anything. However, I am very open to say that I do believe I once saw a UFO. I do believe that I saw that in the desert. In the desert of New Mexico, of all places.
Oh.
Yeah.
Makes the most sense of anything you've said all night.
Yeah.
What do you think was in the UFO?
Well, that I don't know. And I'm never going to like...
You're not going to speculate on that?
I will just simply say I saw something that looked like it was flying, and I couldn't explain what it was or what shape it was. All I saw were two red lights on it. And I was like, interesting. Yeah, but no.
It must have been Disney Plus's Ironheart, the scariest thing of all. Well, I had a friend that, it was the Isotopes announcer, original drummer, Hercules Rockefeller, used to live off campus at a college in an old farmhouse in the middle of nowhere, and they only had access to the first floor, so the whole upstairs was not in use. Nobody was supposed to be up there, and he would tell me all the time that he would hear footsteps up there. And obviously, it's easy to say somebody was up there and they didn't know it, but there was often times where it was just the middle of the night, or seemingly nobody was there, and he could hear something walking around up there when supposedly nobody lived up there. So
You see, but here's the thing, though, is that I firmly believe that what this person is saying is true. I can't ever argue with someone's experience. What I will argue with is the conclusions they draw when he says, I heard footsteps. No, you sound something that sounded like footsteps. You can't just conclude that it was in fact a footstep. And I realize I can come off as kind of an asshole when I do shit like that. And I try not to. I try to be polite about it. But I do also want to kind of educate people in not drawing those conclusions either. Because I won't argue with what he heard. I won't argue with what he experienced or how he felt. I can't. There's no way for me to know. But when I just don't like that conclusion drawn, I heard footsteps. You don't know what you heard.
It is similar how the human mind tries to create faces in anything. So, if we see
pareidolia
ceiling, if we see a popcorn ceiling, we say, oh, look, there's a person, there's a gorilla, there's a, there's this, there's that, there's a duck, whatever. There's all of these different things. And, that is what our brain tries to explain things. And sometimes our brain explains things to us in a wrong way. I do want to point out also, though, that I am definitely going to have a hard time sleeping now, because now I'm going to be all alone in my house and everything is going to sound like footsteps, even though I know it isn't.
I want to point out in the chat, Stevie J, it's possum in the attic equals ghost footsteps. Going to become relevant. But Kaylee, do you have any ghost story?
I have never had a paranormal experience.
Okay.
I don't think ever.
Episode 1, we need to know what people are bringing to the table. It's a very dark and stormy night here, by the way, Luigi. You might not know this.
I know, it's very scary.
We have a lightning storm happening outside right now. So this is a perfect night for the first episode of the Edge Files. And again, I want to thank everybody that's in the chat remarking about how severe my lighting and camera angle is. It's part of the bid, everybody.
I do think that we have a couple more super chats before we get into some more stuff here.
Oh, wow, great.
Yes.
Well, I'm not going to just force it. It says, here for Luigi's boisterous Italian laugh. Hi, Lucy.
Hi.
No, Jack. I'm Jewish, not Italian. I change it every time he asks me. He says, are you an Italian trying to be Jewish, or a Jewish person trying to be Italian? I forget what I'm on this time. Rumple Trenchcoat, a Colombo podcast. Thank you for the $2. Ooh, this is fun show, folks. Hey, that's just like possibly the best response we could ask for.
That really, truly is. This is the type of stuff that we all love talking about so much. I think that I'll speak a little bit for Luigi and Andy. I grew up on is maybe the wrong terminology, but loved unsolved mysteries. That the experience of like getting to understand the unknown. That's what we want. Andy, did you share your experiences with the paranormal?
I don't have a ton
You
either.
haven't had any?
I've shared Kevin's because that was maybe the most relevant.
Yeah.
I have wandered through a cemetery very drunk and seen orbs, but that's not credible in any single way. So I don't bring that up. But no, I don't have a lot except for just being really nervous. After I stayed up putting this together, the most scary thing was when I was locking up for the night. I live in a safe neighborhood, but after I put this all together,
you know what that means, Andy.
I locked all the
Oh
no. But I just went around and locked all the doors, and I just had visions in my head of home invasions and things like that after I got done putting this together, which maybe will become more understandable as we get to the end of the show. But when you let your imagination run away with you is probably the scariest thing.
I can't say that any better. I mean, that's exactly how I feel. And I feel like that is, unfortunately, what people seem to base long-term stories and sometimes even careers on.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
is just simply someone's imagination. And I'm not saying it's always intentional. I definitely don't think it's always intentional. I think that there's predisposition based on religion, predisposition just based on personality. Sometimes it is intentional, like with the Warrens. They were full of shit and garbage, and they deserve to burn in hell if there is a hell. But there are just sometimes people who just could possibly really believe that their experience was genuine and sincere. And I want to make it very clear. I cannot argue with that.
Yeah.
I can just use reason and logic.
A lot of it goes all the way back to, I mean, not to shit on anybody's religion or anything, but a lot of things are written to explain the unexplainable. People didn't know what lightning was, so it becomes God bowling, and shit. People make up explanations that are not founded in anything to explain something that they saw that they can't explain. A fucking mermaid or whatever, the Loch Ness monster. Somebody saw something in the water and they didn't know what it was, so they say it's a monster. Shit like that.
I did have sex with a mermaid. Yes.
Congratulations, sir.
Yes, it was weird and awkward.
How slimy.
Less slimy than you'd think. I was the slimy one.
Yeah.
But I don't believe in ghosts.
How big were the tits? That's what everyone wants.
Yeah, that is the most important. What was I thinking?
How big were the seashells? That's all.
She was a fish on top, human on the bottom.
Nice.
Man,
yes.
Should we move on away from haunted boats into being alone in the woods?
Ooh.
Are you guys campers in any single way? Do people enjoy camping?
No.
You like sleeping in the dirt with bugs and
not a fan. Don't understand how anyone enjoys it.
Kaylee?
I would prefer to stay at a hotel, but I have been known to camp. However, when I was starting to get into camping, that was when I got into the band Children of Bodom, and then I learned about the Lake Bodom murders, and then I became terrified of camping ever again. So,
that'd be a great topic for this show.
I do.
It's still unsolved, right?
Very. There have been recent developments. I don't recall if it's officially solved or not now, but
intriguing.
I love hiking. I just would like to, at the end of the night, put my head on a pillow in a bed with a temperature-controlled room.
Yes, and shit in a toilet.
Yeah, that's great.
There's a lot of reasons to not go.
That one bothers me less than the pillow. I want a good pillow. I don't care where I shit.
He's shitting right now. Play the brown note again. Thank you.
Now we all are.
Oh, hold on. We have another super chat I want to get to before I forget. Wait, I don't think I can put. Oh yeah, okay. Rumble Trenchcoat, a Colombo podcast. Thank you for the $5. That was supposed to be a spooky ghost going, ooh. The way I did it, I guess, was a little gay. It says maybe it was the ghost of Paul Lynde. Good one, Rumble Trenchcoat. Oh wait, that's Charles Nelson Riley. Wait.
Both good. At any rate, there is a big population of YouTube videos about these maniacs that go camping alone, and oftentimes it's pedestrian, even boring. You know, I spent virtually my whole childhood every summer camping in the Adirondacks at Lake George. We had to pack everything into a boat. You drive out into the middle of the lake, and there's a fireplace and a picnic table, and you have to bring and an outhouse, and you have to bring everything else. So it's not the truest form of roughing it, but it's work. You have to set everything up. You have to bring everything that you need and chop wood and get water. And yes, it's fun to go swimming and skiing, but your back hurts when you wake up in the morning. Camping sucks. We can all agree.
It sounds like a blast.
Yeah, right. At any rate,
I'm sorry. Read the latest full of.
Tony.
Hack the Movies. Thank you for the $5. I'm late. Is this a camping podcast?
It is. It is now.
A campcast.
Listen,
I'm sorry, that
Tony.
made me laugh.
Listen, Tony. Tony's just jealous that we're talking about camping while he's talking about boring movies over on Hack the Movies.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Andy.
Hey, no, it's fine. I need Tony. We need to set the table for Tony to understand what's happening. You joined at just the right time, Tony, because these people, when you go camping alone in the woods, don't do that. Is my advice. Ghosts aside, there's wild animals. You could
Good advice.
hit yourself with an axe while you're trying to chop wood. You could fall in a ravine and have to cut your own arm off. You've seen that movie, right, Tony? It's just like so many reasons to not camp alone. But in the next clip, we're gonna learn one reason not to. Remember that super chat or that comment.
Friday night, but I'm going away Saturday, so I've got a bit of a drive as well. So I didn't want to be tired, and it's going to throw it down Friday night as well. And rain camping is really good.
Sounds terrible.
Is that a badger? Hello?
So this guy is he's just talking to his phone out of boredom, and it sounds like somebody's walking up on him, and he turns around and there's nothing there. And I didn't bring every incident of this happening to this guy, but it happens 2 or 3 more times.
Does he die in the next clip?
I Googled it. He got eaten by a bear.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kidding.
Turns out it was a honey badger, and he did get mauled by it. But and obviously, it's very easy to say it's 80 yard over top of this, but this guy had that experience, and he's
definitely having an experience there.
So he was freaked out about it, and he wanted to share it. He uploaded it onto the internet, and at least at this point, it's broad daylight, right? But because I brought up my camping experience. I remember we were just sitting around in the 90s listening to Stone Temple Pilots at 12 at night, getting blackout drunk with no campfire. We just had a lamp, like a lantern, on a picnic table with an 18-pack and 4 guys. And we start to turn around and realize that there is not fewer than 9 raccoon eyes, like 9 pairs of eyes, just raccoons surrounding the campsite, waiting for us to go to bed so that they can raid our food supply. And they like to get into the food and steal the cereal. They don't want to like attack you or anything, but that's the safest version of what could happen while you're camping. You just realize that hopefully non-predators, but you don't know what's out there. These black bears, anything could
be sharks.
Yeah, land sharks. Who knows?
African American bears.
Freshwater sharks could be
not in Andy's neighborhood.
Freshwater sharks could be crawling out of the lake and attacking you. But I'm just saying, like you turn around and like all of a sudden all this wildlife is surrounding you. So in the next clip here, this guy just continues to hear something stalking around, and he pulls a ripcord on this whole camping trip.
I don't blame him.
I'm going to be honest. I can't stay here now. I want to be a wimp. I don't care if people call me a wimp in the comments, but I can't stay here.
Call me an F-slur if you want. I'm out of here.
I'm nervous.
You don't have to stream.
I've done camping like this a load of times. I think I'm gonna go find somewhere else to get this bivvy set up.
Super gay.
I'm leaving
In the
this
middle
spot.
of the night?
You can't take it. It's that creepy. He just has to
But
bail
is
in
it
the
not
middle of the night.
scarier to go meander in the woods in the middle of the night?
Is he next to like a vehicle? Like, is he like is like his truck or something like right next to him? Like,
I don't know. I thoroughly enjoy there is this microcosm of YouTube videos about people going into the middle of nowhere and building premium like log cabins and like bivouacs and lean-tos, but like really well made. It's a guy with a shovel and a knife, and he makes a vacation spot in the middle of nowhere. And so they're really fun videos to fall asleep to. Actually, that's what I like to fall asleep to. But yeah, these guys just they want to get close to nature, and they think that they're big tough guys, and they're proving something by doing this all on their own. And I'm just like a hard no on that. I don't want anything to do with this.
we have very different standards of masculinity. By the way, Hamhead said in the chat that the guy's in his own backyard.
Yeah. It's his wife fucking with him.
That did remind me a lot of, have you guys seen Bobcat Goldthwait's Willow Creek, that movie that he made? It's really, really good. If you've not seen that movie, highly recommend. It is about a guy and his girlfriend. It's a mockumentary about a guy and his girlfriend going on the hunt for Bigfoot in Willow Creek, and it is wonderful. That
That's
footage
interesting.
reminded me a lot of it.
I saw Police Academy
And also
4.
Bobcat Goldthwait. So.
Yeah. And you talked about this, Luigi. Maybe your experience that you were recounting, that you heard something, you thought it was a voice, but maybe it was something else. And I've had similar experiences with noises happening outside my house. We have a population of fox that live in and around our neighborhood. And one night I was woken up out of a dead sleep by what sounded like 2 3-year-olds fighting in my garden. And I think it was 2 foxes fucking, but
banging.
They were screaming their heads off, and it freaked me the fuck out.
But you knew you were in a safe neighborhood, and it wasn't 2 3-year-olds fighting. I would have checked if it was 2 3-year-olds fighting.
Yeah. It definitely wasn't 2 3-year-olds.
Yeah, and they have a scream. Foxes have a scream that also sounds menacing,
Very
but it sounds also like it is a what's the word? Like a terrified scream, like
right.
Yeah. And if they're fucking, God, who knows what it sounds like?
Have you ever seen a cat video where the cat meows, but it seemingly sounds like it's saying something?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So in this next clip,
Long Johnson.
Yeah.
Long Johnson.
Yeah, that crosses my mind virtually once a month, especially when I'm feeding my cat. But this next clip, I don't know if what we're hearing is something that sounds similar or if it's somebody lurking in the dark. But if I was walking alone in the woods and this happened, you wouldn't need to play the brown note. I would be shitting my pants for real.
It's funny. I'm sitting here just imagining in my head though, like Andy waking up in the middle of the night and like nudging Mrs. Trucker Andy and being like, is there any chance there's 2 3-year-olds fighting outside? Because like I really want to know before I open the door.
Otherwise, me beating off to this fox stuff is going to seem really weird. Anyway, unknown voices in the woods.
Oh, hi.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Right. Is that like a bird or a person or a bird person? What the fuck is happening?
It was I really get angry when I see like ghost shows trying to make like legible words out of nonsense noises. Like that just bothers me. I hate that so much. It's such a scam. But I feel like that is exactly what that was. Like you said, could have been a bird, could have been just, I don't know, could have been anything. Could have been near a paper factory that was letting off steam. I have no idea where they are, what's going on, what they're doing. But it didn't sound human either.
This isn't anybody claiming that this was a ghost or that this was a person
Yeah.
or that it was a bird. It was just something that happened to them. And if that happened to you, you would probably be freaked out.
Well, it was the closed captioning at the bottom that said "I see you," and I'm like, I didn't hear "I see you." Yeah, so that's what I'm talking about. But
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But if you're that person, and you're like, oh, I thought that was somebody saying that, so I included it. But yeah,
I don't
it's
like
easily-
things that go bump in the night. I
No.
don't like things that go bump in the night.
Have you
I
ever
don't care
have you ever
what.
been laying in bed at home and your house settled in a weird way where you thought somebody was coming up the stairs?
Yeah, and now it's going to happen 75 times tonight, and I hate you both for this right now.
I'm
That's
sorry.
the show you signed up for.
I need.
You want more fart jokes
Yeah, I signed up for fart jokes and making fun of
and diarrhea?
foxes fighting and Don Piano and
And Oolong Johnson.
yeah.
Yeah, but this is why I went and locked all my doors after I produced the show last night. I feel like there's some horny foxes trying to break into my house.
And he's like, I see you.
Yeah, I see you, bitch. I want
He's
that
gonna,
ass.
you're gonna open a window and there's gonna be a fox just staring at you. You know, it's funny. I don't know why I'm thinking of this, and it maybe isn't even relevant, but I had a friend one time, it's my best friend who's been my best friend for over like nearly 30 years, even though I am 17. He once told me that in college, he did this study abroad program it was like, the only reason I'm trying to think about this is because it does kind of just lead to a little bit of the mystique of this story. I believe it was in Colorado or New Mexico or Utah. So it's one of those 4 deserted areas, and that he was filming something because he was a movie major, whatever you call it, film major, and he was filming something, and he had to stay in this cabin with the other students and their professor, and he said that it was kind of deserted, and that you had to get out of if you had to go to the bathroom, there was a communal bathroom. Like, you had to get out of his room and walk down some stairs and go to this bathroom. And that he woke up, went down the stairs, and he saw a woman in what looked like a sheet flowing behind her walk past him, and that he like looked around the corner and no one was there. And he said, I think I saw a ghost. And he was explaining it to me, and I was like, really? And like, this was not the skeptical Luigi back then. This was just tell me your story and I'll listen. And then, without me really adding much, any sort of feedback, he just starts going, I think I was still kind of dreaming. I think I was still kind of asleep. Like, he just talked himself out of it without me even having to suggest anything. So anyway,
It was
there's an argument.
You were looking at him like he was a dumb fuck. And he was
maybe
just,
that's possible.
telling this to the wrong person, I guess.
But I will say in the same way that our minds try to create faces in our popcorn ceilings, there is an argument that could be made that our minds try to rationalize things that are actually scary because we don't want to acknowledge them. So perhaps a part of the reason that he was saying, oh, no, this didn't happen, maybe I was still dreaming, is because it was too scary to confront the alternative. And I, despite the fact that I don't believe in ghosts, I do think that there is an argument argument that there is to be made for that. Perhaps the reason that I don't believe in ghosts is because I will literally never sleep ever again if I do.
Yeah. What about this super chat from Mike So Nice?
Hey, Andy. Hey. It's me, the fox who was fucking outside of your house the other day. Yeah. You know you wanted in on it.
Hit me up after the show. Slide into my DMs.
I'm going to get you, Andy.
What did I put up the wrong chat? I can't see.
No,
anything.
no, that's right.
Okay, somebody read it to me.
Oh, Mike So Nice. Thank you for the $5. I felt a presence near me when I was experiencing sleep paralysis. Okay, now that's something very different, and I'm not going to be too skeptical on that one. I have experienced sleep paralysis before, and I do understand it. I get it, and that's not necessarily a paranormal thing. I think that is just your mind messing with you. I'm going to change from a fox because I don't think this is really giving me a lot of credibility.
I think that we missed this one also. If one of you wouldn't mind reading this one.
Hamhead.
You city folk need to grow up, go camping.
Why?
Never.
I like that I have the knowledge that I gained from growing up going camping all the time. I aged out. What?
The name.
Yeah, no, I know. I saw who put that in there. You're not fooling me.
I love all of you so much right now.
Our chat is already awesome.
To Andy's horny foxes.
Andy's horny foxes.
I'm sorry, Andy. We were listening for sure.
I'm gonna ask Gummy to make like a Charlie's Angel poster, but it's Andy's horny foxes and. All right, I'm sorry.
Me with you
Andy.
two as two foxes, yeah. But I lean on the comfort of the knowledge that if the shit hits the fan, I know how to go fishing. I know how to start a campfire. I know how to rough it a little bit. So that's comforting to me that I developed that muscle, that knowledge, and that I feel like it can serve me in the real world. You know, like there's a lot of things that
I can make a pot pie in the microwave.
Yeah. So when the world comes to an end,
as long as we're bragging, just saying.
Yeah.
I know how to build stuff.
Correct. You're completely right. It's a valuable skill set, and
you watch people on Survivor or MTV's The Challenge. It's like you don't know how to paddle a fucking canoe. Like you could tell by the way they're holding the paddle that they're incompetent. I don't know. It's just like something that it's
I know. I was like, I don't.
No, I know how to paddle a canoe and a kayak. It's different.
I think I'd be okay if I had to figure it out. I've never done it before.
You would definitely lose in a race to Lucy.
Yeah, oh for sure. I'm very competitive about things like that, but secretly. And also there's no ghosts. Everybody remind me of that.
There's no
ghosts. No shark ghosts, especially.
Shark. All right, that's definitely getting made.
Ghost shark and horny foxes.
Hey, that's a buddy comedy. Yeah. Ghost shark and horny fox.
We've done one episode and we already have 10 mascots.
I love it. I'm so happy. You guys, I'm so happy. All right. Do we have more? Did you set up a clip and then we got totally derailed by your stupid horny foxes? Or
no, yeah. The I see you voice in the woods was a one.
I love this.
Oh yes.
This last one is legit. This is not ghosts. This is not government weapons. This is just fucking creeps being creepy. Okay. And the creepiest thing that could happen to you when you're camping is that you hear something in your campsite outside your tent. And if you're lucky, you're there with a bunch of people. If you're lucky, you're armed. If you're lucky, you're in a tent that is big enough for more than just a nylon coffin. This guy is sleeping in one of those one-person tents that is big enough for just you. And this is like what Jason Voorhees picks up and beats against a tree with somebody inside of it. It's a giant sleeping bag, basically. And this is going to start with somebody circling his tent and touching the tent and freaking him the fuck out.
They're walking around outside in circles. Hello? Hello? All right, I don't like this. Hello? Hello? They're touching my tent. Stop. Hello? Hello? All right, I'm getting out of here.
So it seems very Blair Witchy, right?
I hate it.
Yeah, I hate it too.
I don't like that at all.
And it's very easy to say this guy staged this whole thing, whatever. It was his friend and they wanted to go viral or something like that. Say what you want. Whether it's real or fake, it's a narrative that is terrifying, especially if you have been camping. Again, moral of the story, everybody, don't go camping alone. Bring a friend, have fun together. Don't
go camping.
Don't go camping. Yeah.
That's our new slogan, actually. Is don't go camping. Yeah. I do think that we are going to at some point need to have a counter for how many times I look over my shoulder while we're talking about stuff when we're doing this show. But also this clip reminded me a whole bunch of the concept behind the movie Skinamarink, which was a very divisive movie because effectively nothing happens in that movie for an hour and a half. You stare at the corner of a room for an hour and a half. And I will tell you right now, that is the most terrifying movie that I have ever seen in my entire life. And the director's concept for making this film was, when you're a little kid and you have to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night and you can't put your foot on the floor because if you put your foot on the floor, the whole world becomes real and everything is terrifying. And you're so paralyzed in fear. Nothing bad is happening, but you're so paralyzed in fear that you literally cannot get out of that bed to go to the bathroom. And he said, I wanted to make a movie where I could make people feel that fear as an adult, because we don't frequently sit with that fear as in the same way that we did when we were innocent little children. That video to me does that. That is the nightmare. This is the nightmare situation. I rationally know it's just my friends fucking with me. I rationally know it's just a person. But also it's a murderer. Also it's a ghost. Also it's a bear. Also it's all of the horrifying things. It's all of the horrifying things. And I can't get out of that tent. That guy was brave to say that I'm going to leave because I would not be able to put my foot on the floor. I would not be able to get up and go pee in the middle of the night if I was a little kid. I would be terrified of that. Terrified. I hate it.
Lucy,
I'm sorry, before we get away from it, Luigi,
Okay.
does shit happen like unseen off camera, or is it just you're looking at the corner of a room for an hour? What is Skinamarink?
Oh, it's
hear
very
shit?
very little happens in Skinamarink. It is an incredible movie. If you watch that movie, you cannot eat popcorn while you're watching it. You must turn off your phone. You are not allowed to do anything except for watch that movie, and you should watch it on the biggest screen and the loudest volume that you can. It is a movie that requires full attention to be terrifying, and if you are in the slightest bit distracted, it will be boring and the dumbest movie of all time. I completely understand. It's a very divisive movie. I totally understand why people hate it. I have never been more afraid in my entire life. I could not go to sleep. I could not be alone for days.
Okay.
Terrifying movie.
Okay,
Well-
Eric Nagel's in the chat saying Skinamarink is a movie you expect things to be happening and it doesn't.
Yes, that is 100% correct, Eric Nagel. That's actually probably the nicest thing that anybody's ever said about that movie. It's extremely slow paced. It is nothing happens. If you devote all of the focus and attention possible to that movie, it is the same feeling that you feel when you're stuck in a tent and your friends are walking around you, or you're trying to get out of bed when you're a kid, or all of those fears that we don't like to talk about.
Well, let's see if part 2 of this video convinces us that this is fake or real. Is this his friends fucking with him, or is this?
Oh, can we take bets?
Hillbillies in the
Yes.
woods.
100% when he unzipped that door, he had a friend who had his cheek spread.
Oh, I hope
farting into
Luigi's
the
right. I don't even want to guess. I hope it's 2 friends farting into his tent. Okay.
Hey,
okay.
we're all friends. It's a happy ending. We.
Okay. I'm gonna do it.
Hello? Hello? I don't know what this is, but we're getting out of here. Hang on. Hello? Okay, they're walking away now. What do you want? What do you want? I have a knife. Where's my knife?
Oh no! Don't say that out loud.
Yeah, exactly.
You said the quiet part out loud, sir. Don't tell them that you don't know where your knife is. I have a knife right here. In fact, I have another one in this hand. And look at my gun that I'm using with my feet.
Exactly. Get your knife first before you say I have a knife and I know karate and I have a girlfriend in Canada.
I have a bomb. Kaylee, can you see I'm presenting something there?
I
for you to
can
show?
see it. I was gonna wait until after we saw the non-existent farts. I'm sad that you got me all excited about that. I believe that this one is for Andy here.
This is from Gummy already. Andy's horny foxes. Thank you, Gummy Chainsaw.
I love it. Gummy Chainsaw, so talented.
I prefer the Maid Marian Disney box, but I'll settle for that.
It's gonna be okay, Andy.
Yeah.
There's other foxes in the world.
Andy's horny foxes. That I love that so much. That's going to be the name of episode 2. Andy's horny foxes.
Okay, the dramatic conclusion to "Don't go camping alone."
Farts.
Oh, there's a third part? Oh.
With me here. Holy crap. Get away. What do you want? Hello? I can't see you. Hello? I'm getting out of here. We're getting.
Don't show it to the camera.
I think they went this way. I
The
see
stalkers.
you. Get away.
Who's the bird? I see you.
All right, I'm spooked. I don't like this. Get my headlamp on.
You think?
Getting out of here right now. They're just standing there. They're just
Who's
standing there.
they?
What do you want? Leave me alone! Again, I don't know. I'm getting out of here. We're going. I'll come back for this.
He's
some other
just
time.
leaving all his shit.
All right, out of here. I'm leaving. Don't follow me. I don't know where to go. I don't know which way to get out of here. I smell your cigarette. I can hear you. I hear you.
So it is
It's
just
all
someone
foggy up
fucking with
here.
him.
I got water in my headlamp. I don't know where to go. I don't see or hear anybody anymore.
Bigfoot smoking a cigarette.
I hear them coming. Can't see the shadow. Here's a path. Okay, get me there. I'm recording all of this. I'm calling up police. All right, I'm back on the path. Back on the path. Okay.
Oh my God.
So happy ending. The guy fucking survived, but only he did what everybody should do in this scenario. Just get the fuck out of there. Leave. Your tent is not worth trying to pack it up or whatever. Keep somebody from stealing it. But
That is exactly what probably happened at Lake Bodom. And I just want to say that right now, except for they knew each other. Maybe that guy knew the other guy. I don't know.
that guy, they died.
I don't like it. Yeah, people got killed.
Yeah. See, this guy survived. I think.
We
I'd like
don't
to
even
believe.
know.
Yeah, I know. Maybe they just found that footage. Nah, he survived. Well, happy ending. He survived. But
Yay.
that's the
okay.
creepiest. That's the creepiest thing. It's just like The Walking Dead. The zombies become a moot point. It's the other humans that you got to worry about. That's the people are the scariest thing. So
You know, that's actually the plot of every horror movie, is that the zombies are simply comparative as disgusting monsters for which the humans have actually outdone. Because the humans are always the ultimate enemies in zombie movies.
yeah, This is like that's whatever what is it? The Strangers or any home invasion movie. That's
No,
why
I'm agreeing with you. I'm totally agreeing with you.
and that's what I'm saying. I went to bed and I was locking all my doors. I never lock my doors.
Yeah,
I lock
guys,
all
let's
my
talk
doors.
more about home invasion and voyeurism, two of my favorite topics, but not before bedtime.
Yeah.
Somebody talk about the Dan Brown note again. Somebody play me some fart noises. That's what we're gonna need right about in this time. Thank you very much.
Hey,
Yes, there we go.
when I
feel
get
much better.
when I get called to action, I deliver.
I feel better already.
Here's one of my faves. There you go.
Very happy. It sounded happy. I like it.
Haley's gonna beat me to death with a frying pan when I show up, trying to sneak up on her tonight to freak her out.
She's gonna have a fox and just throw it on you.
He knows
when you
where
least
I
expect
live,
it.
and I don't like this
I'm
anymore.
not doing that. You're fine. Yeah,
She's gonna let a fox loose in your house.
Two.
You have a home defense cat to protect you.
I have a home defense cat. I have a security system. Nobody try to fuck with me, please.
She already regret. We've done one episode. She regrets the.
No, this is so much fun. I just am gonna have to watch. I gotta watch my happy time shows. What's everybody's happy time shows when they're like feeling spooked? Do you guys have happy time shows? Is that just me because I'm a giant pussy? Or do you guys have
I have some
happy
shows that put me in a better mood. Like I watch The Simpsons that put me in a better mood. Or there's a show on Netflix I really love called Norseman. It's one of the one of the most hilarious shows ever made. That always puts me in a good mood.
Yeah. Schitt's Creek. Schitt's Creek. It's always
Creek's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah. Watch some Schitt's Creek.
Yeah.
It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh, that's a good one. Some Nathan For You always puts me in a good mood
Oh
too.
my God. Somebody just told me about a Nathan For You episode that I had never seen before. I've only seen like the first like one, maybe two seasons of that show.
Are you
And so-
kidding? Oh my God.
I know, it's so good. And it's one of those things that I just haven't had a chance to finish. And somebody was just telling me about an episode of that. And I laughed
What
so
was it?
hard. Oh
Which
my
one?
God. Now, of course, I can't even remember. I don't think I've ever laughed that hard though.
If
Just
you
hearing
ever-
the description of it.
Yeah, if you ever like just don't have time, but you want to give Nathan For You a chance, you have to
Oh, I
watch the
loved it.
final episode. The
Okay.
final episode is so fucking brilliant. Like I really thought it deserved. I thought it deserved awards. It was so good. But he makes a movie. Like it's like a 2-hour long, completely different agenda than every other episode. It's him. I don't think I'm going to spoil anything if I say it. It's him helping an elderly man find his lost love from high school that he regrets not marrying. And and they make a movie out of the journey of trying to find her. It is so brilliantly done and hilarious.
Yeah, he's a genius.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Did you
Anyway.
see the rehearsal at all? The episode 1 of the rehearsal?
I haven't because that trailer just doesn't appeal to me because I don't know what's going on. I'm like,
Well-
I don't understand what's happening, so I'm not interested in it. You know, like
I don't think it is going to ruin the experience of watching it to say that this guy wants to have a conversation with a woman that he knows from from trivia night, and to prepare him for that, he recreates the bar that trivia night is at, like to a T. Like they go to he has a stage production company recreate the bar, the outside and the inside, to a point where there's like a deflated balloon floating around the ceiling, and that's in there too. All the hot sauces on the bar are all the same hot sauces from the actual bar. It's mental. It's like
wow,
like autism as art, kind of insane. So that guy, Nathan Fielder, is just brilliant. So
Yeah, he is brilliant.
yeah.
I'm trying to think what
that's
TV. I
interesting.
actually just found all of season 1 and 2 of Bullshit on DVD the other day when I was out thrifting. So maybe I'll do some
I've
Penn and
watched
Teller's Bullshit.
I have watched that show so much. I think I could quote every episode.
I think I could too, but I didn't own it before, so now I own it. So I'm excited
My
about that.
absolute favorite television show
So now this podcast is just turned into every other podcast where
we're trying to make
Yeah.
Kaylee feel a little bit more comfortable. We're gonna like just digress off of the scary
I
stuff.
think that we need to institute a
Palate
10-minute. Yeah, a palate cleanser. You're
Like-
Andy. You're like the king of palate cleansers.
Like
I
pressure,
think
like a
that-
depressurization.
We need to so that Kaylee doesn't freak out every time that we do an episode. Yeah, this is
Okay.
it's great. I feel all better. Nobody's saying anything spooky now.
All right, let's make that the end of every episode is
I like that. That's good.
decompression palate cleanser. But I do.
I'll have
want-
some funny clips prepared for next episode.
Yeah, now
Excellent.
that we've done this one, the maiden voyage, Luigi is going to be the producer for next month's, the last Monday of every month. You can look forward to another episode of the Edge Files, and next month is Luigi's turn, where we won't talk about ghost horse shit, stupid haunted
We might.
boats or whatever. But I just thought that was good. It was more of like a broad theme that was a good way to start. I think we'll get a little more focused on specific stories maybe going forward, right? But
Can we talk a little bit about like maybe what you two and maybe the audience might be interested in for an episode for next time?
I think that would be great. I know, Luigi, you mentioned a possible idea of what you were thinking about doing. Are you still thinking about that? I don't want to spoil it if you.
I don't remember what I said. I actually have a full list of a lot of things, so
Look
I don't.
at how I took notes.
Oh, okay.
Carl Tanzler.
Carl Tanzler is a good one. It's a creepy one though. Nothing about ghosts or anything. You know what? Carl Tanzler's a great one. I think. All right, we just decided.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
No.
Magician I never heard of.
Yes.
How have you never? Okay.
I guarantee
Oh.
you that if I started pulling up James Randi stuff, you would be like, "Oh, I know exactly." who
Andy,
that
I
is."
have episodes devoted to James Randi on
Oh, all
Skeptical
right, I'll
Robot.
go find that then.
Yes,
You know who he is.
He devoted his life to debunking anyone that claimed that they had supernatural powers and offered $1 million and worked with Penn and Teller to debunk all these people like Uri Geller and Peter Popoff. Anyway, he devoted his life and offered $1 million to anyone who could prove that they had psychic powers, and no one ever collected the $1 million. Amazing. But yeah, so I've got like a pretty long list of stuff that I would like to talk about on this show. But I think Carl Tanzler is a good one. And folks, if you don't know the story of Carl Tanzler, I will give you a small little summary. A guy fell in love with a woman and she died.
All right. Well.
Tune in for the rest.
Ooh, spooky.
And he wouldn't let that stop him from loving her. Yeah. And there's aliens.
Well, I think that we are all going to.
Yeah, I'm not kidding.
No ghosts, just aliens.
No ghosts.
baby.
There's spaceships and corpses and weird tubing systems that go in corpse vaginas.
Is there a creep
Yeah.
off episode? Have you done an episode about this, or is there a creep off episode about it?
Ooh, I don't know. I don't remember hearing a creep off episode about this.
Oh, okay, I don't know. It's starting to sound a little familiar, but
Guess where it happened, folks?
I look
You
forward to-
guessed it, Florida.
Well, I think that we are going to conclude our first episode here. We would love to hear any suggestions that you guys have for other topics that we can discuss. Leave them either in the comments down below any of our videos. Send us messages. We would love to hear about it. We have a Twitter, correct?
Yep.
It's
Instagram and Twitter accounts for the show. But you can reach out to any of our social accounts as well individually. So
So we look forward to seeing you guys again the last Monday of every month. So the next one is going to be July 28th. And we will let you guys know the time once it gets a little bit closer. But we thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us on this first episode. Andy, you did an awesome job with presentation. I loved getting to learn all about this. goofy stuff. And I just want to end by saying Andy's horny foxes, but I think that you guys would probably both like to plug things that you're up to and all the exciting stuff. So Andy, why don't you start out by telling us about what you have that's coming up that's exciting?
Thanks. Yes. Thank you for enjoying the show. And allapologiespodcast.com is where you can find my YouTube channel, my Patreon, and please go subscribe to this YouTube channel. If you're listening on one of the other host here's channels, that would help me out a lot. But we have Anthony Zenhauser on Wednesday's episode at 10 a.m. talking about Brad Pitt on Dax Shepard's Armchair Expert. And that was a lot of fun to talk to Zen about. So check that out, please.
Awesome. And Luigi, what about you?
Check me out, luigigreenberg.com. Also, Skeptical Robot. My channel is at Papa_Electrico. I do a show on Fridays where I just do brown notes and fart jokes for a solid 3 hours. It's called Skeptical Robot. And last Friday we did, it's all about con men, grifters, and the paranormal, and the liars who spread their nonsense. We did an episode on Michael Larson, the guy who found a glitch in the game show Press Your Luck, went on the show and won a shit ton of money because fully legitimately. Very interesting story. And also catch me at Hack Ride Studios on Thursdays doing unboxing Riley Martin and unboxing Bigfoot it is, and on Sundays unboxing Eric. Hack Ride Studios channel.
Yay. All right. Well, thank you guys all so much.
Plug your stuff.
Oh yeah. I do movie reviews on Once Over with Kaylee, Cayley. And both Andy and Luigi have joined me for some of those, which have been wonderful. And you can also find that on Patreon, where I do some saucier stuff. And those are the words that I remember right now. Oh, Andy and I will be in Detroit on September 12th with Who Are These Podcasts? Who Are These Podcasts.com. I fucked all of this up. I'm very bad at plugs. Everything's great. Everything. I'm just going to end the stream now because I did such a great job on that. Everybody make sure that you're following Edge Files. Blah. It's great.